All right, let's get right into it. Today, we're tearing down one of the biggest rail tenders to come out of the region. We are going to deconstruct the official documents, piece by piece, to give you a crystal clear picture of what's at stake, what it takes to get in the game, and the strategy you'll need to win. So, let's jump in.
So, what is this massive project that has the entire industry buzzing? Well, we're not just talking about selling some locomotives here. This is about building a long-term partnership that's going to power the future of an entire national railway.
The tender we're zeroing in on is from TCDD Taşmacılık, which is the transport division of the Turkish State Railways. The number to remember is 2025/110464. And trust me, this is way more than just another purchase order. It's a huge strategic move into modern diesel-electric power. Let's look at the big numbers.
So what's at the heart of this deal? 40 brand new TSI-certified diesel-electric mainline locomotives. This is a massive fleet upgrade designed to seriously boost freight capacity across Turkey's conventional rail lines.
But it's not just about the hardware. Not even close. The contract also bakes in a massive service commitment. We're talking nearly 21.5 million kilometers of maintenance. Right away, that tells you they're focused on reliability and the total cost over the locomotive's life, not just the sticker price.
And how long will this partnership last? The total contract clocks in at 79 months. That's more than 6.5 years from start to finish, covering manufacturing, delivery, and that whole initial maintenance period. This is a serious, long-term commitment.
Okay, to make sense of this beast, we've broken it down into 6 key questions. We'll start with what the opportunity really is, then look at who can even bid, how the money works, what you have to deliver, what the long-term relationship looks like, and finally, what happens when things go wrong. Let's get to it.
Section 1. What is the opportunity? So beyond the big flashy numbers, what is TCD Taşmacılık actually buying here? What does the full package really include?
Well, you can't just bid on the fun stuff. The tender is structured as an all-or-nothing package. So what are the 3 main pillars you absolutely have to put a price on? Now, taking a look at the official bid form here, you can see it's a 3-part deal, no cherry picking. First, obviously you've got the 40 locomotives. Second, you have to supply a whole suite of spare parts, special tools, and test equipment, and that's valued at exactly 5% of the total locomotive price. And third, there's that massive 21.5 million kilometer maintenance service. You have to bid on the whole shebang.
Okay, Section 2. Are you qualified to bid? This is where we get to the gatekeepers. TCD has set a really high bar, but it's not just about what you can build, it's about how you build it. A huge question here is, how can you leverage local content? Because figuring that out unlocks a major advantage.
But before you even think about your factory, you've got to ask, is our balance sheet strong enough? The tender documents are super specific about the financial health they expect to see.
Think of this as a non-negotiable financial checklist. They're going to look at 4 key numbers from your last balance sheet. Your current ratio has to be at least 0.75. Your equity ratio at least 0.15. And your debt-to-equity ratio has to be under 0.50. And the big one, your annual turnover needs to be at least 25% of whatever your total bid price is. You miss one of these, and you're out.
Okay, so you passed the financial stress test. What about the technical side? Can you actually prove you have the experience or just the raw industrial power to pull this off? Well, they give you 2 different ways to prove it. So here's the choice you have to make. Path number 1 is showing work experience. You need to prove you've completed a single contract in the last 5 years for similar TSI-certified locos, and that contract has to be worth at least 10% of your bid price. Or, path number 2, you can show production capacity. You just need a certified report that says your factory can pump out at least 3 of these locomotives every month. But, and this is the real strategic part, no matter which path you take, you need to be thinking about the 15% price advantage for domestic goods. If you can get your local contribution over 51%, your bid is officially considered a domestic good, and they'll basically treat your price as if it's 15% cheaper during the evaluation. That is a total game changer.
Section 3. How does the money flow? This is absolutely fundamental for your financing team. And a question we always get, is the contract currency negotiable? Could you bid in US dollars? The short answer is no. The documents say euro, end of story.
So with that settled, how is the payment actually structured? Let's trace how the payments get released over that 79-month contract. It's not like you get one giant check at the end. It's a carefully staggered process tied to very specific project phases, and it's all secured by performance bonds.
So, the money starts flowing with a 15% advance right after you sign the contract. You get another 15% when you prove you've ordered the main components. Then, a big chunk, 25%, when the locomotive body is finished, and another 20% after it passes factory tests. But here's the critical part. For every single one of those first 4 payments, you have to provide a corresponding bank guarantee letter. They're not just handing over cash. The real payoff, 22%, comes as each loco is provisionally accepted in Turkey, and they hold back the final 3% until the final acceptance.
Section 4. What must be delivered? Okay, so we know how you get paid. Now let's talk about what you actually have to deliver and when. The contract has a very, very specific and pretty demanding timeline.
This timeline really maps it all out, starting from T0, the day the contract kicks off. The first locomotive has to be on the rails in Ankara within 23 months. The very last one arrives at month 42. But check out that key milestone at month 28. It's not just about delivering 2 more locos. By that date, the entire package of spare parts and special equipment, everything, maybe even new navigation systems for the fleet, all of it has to be delivered. That is a huge logistical hurdle very early in the project.
All right, next up, Section 5, the long-term commitment. This contract is not a fire-and-forget mission. It is about a performance partnership. So what does the authority demand to make sure this new fleet runs like a clock? We're talking maintenance, a long-term spare parts guarantee, and crucially, a mandatory local partnership for service, which brings us right back to that strategic point about hitting your local content targets. These forms really show you the long-term vision here. Your bid must include the 3-year maintenance service. But look at this. There's an optional extension for another 7 years, or a whopping 42 million kilometers. The authority can choose to trigger this option with the same contractor. And there's even a price escalation clause built in, tying the price for that optional period to the EU Producer Price Index. This creates a very clear pathway to a potential decade-long service partnership.
And that brings us to Section 6. What if things go wrong? With a contract this big, this complex, and this long, the question that should keep you up at night is, what are the financial penalties if we don't deliver?
This table lays out the pretty harsh financial reality. If a locomotive is late, you get fined 0.03% of its value per day. If your spare parts are late, it's a staggering 1% of the material's value per day. During the warranty period, if you don't fix a major failure within 3 days, a €2,000 penalty kicks in for every 24 hours after that. And maybe the most important one, if the entire fleet's availability drops below the 90% target, your monthly maintenance payment gets cut. The message could not be clearer. Performance is everything.
So there you have it. We've deconstructed the opportunity, the qualifications, the cash flow, and the risks. It is a massive, incredibly complex project that demands financial rock-solidness, technical brilliance, and a true performance-based partnership. But more than anything, to be competitive, it demands a really sophisticated strategy for local content. So the final question is, with the full picture now in focus, is your company truly ready to meet this challenge and build the future of Turkish rail?